Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Talks Live. Sorry, Roger got me stuck, had me on mute this morning, but hey, here we go. Man, happy Friday, everybody. One of my favorite days of the week, even though we do kind of like Mondays. Yeah, I appreciate that, Patrick. I was ungovernable. I appreciate that. Yeah, he was in a meeting yesterday and had the mic muted on the box. Didn't realize it. Luckily, we got some people keeping an eye out for us. Roger is out today, out doing some R&R, headed out of town for the weekend. You know, we've got Labor Day coming up on Monday, so I know that y'all are looking forward to the long weekend. Stay focused for the rest of the day, guys. We do not want you getting injured before the day's out, right before a holiday weekend. That is when most accidents happen, Friday afternoon or on Mondays. So stay kind of focused. I'm your host today, Henry Wakefield, 20-year pipe fitter by trade. My whole family's plumbers. As y'all know, Roger's my dad. So he threw me out with a shovel whenever I was really young to get me started. But happy freaking Friday. And we would like to thank LeakPro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, where we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And I always suggest checking out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. If you're a plumber out there and you're not doing your own leak detection, this is the equipment built for you. It's simple, easy to use. It's like geophones on steroids, push button activation. The only adjustment on the whole thing is a volume knob. Think you can handle it. So check out the complete kit at leak.pro. But man, looking forward to this. Everybody taking care of me, keeping me on the mute. Appreciate that, everybody. Matt, good morning, brother. Hope everything's going good. Happy fabulous Friday. New word of the week. All right, silicone. Had a customer kid say that to you. Love it. Okay. Start them young when it comes to building them that work ethic. Hey, I tell you what, once I was old enough to operate a shovel, I was using it. Man, look, there's old man jumping in here. Good morning, Roger. Enjoy your flight. But, you know, thanks for appreciating me. I do appreciate that. Gen X, good morning, bud. Hope everything is good. It is Stay Safe Friday so that you can have a good weekend. That's right, brother. And I hope everybody gets to enjoy their great Labor Day weekend. But, man, let's get the show rolling right along. And we're going to start out with some national news here. A $16 million training center opens up in Nevada for construction and the trades. Okay. Now, this was recently unveiled that the $16 million state-of-the-art training center. Now, this isn't a classroom with any textbooks. This is an industry-built facility. Okay. They have welding bays, mechanical labs for HVAC, full plumbing practice walls, and even simulated construction sites. Now, this is pretty freaking cool because I'm always talking about, love it that we've got all this VR that we can plug into. This is a physical place with a simulated construction site out there. I think it's pretty freaking cool to be able to build centers like this so we can actually teach these guys early on how everything's going. And the funding is a partnership between state workforce dollars and private industry. And, you know, you want to know why? Because contractors and unions told the state, we need hands-on training, not just theory. Okay? And these numbers are big. Hundreds of apprentices are expected to come through every year. Now, that doesn't just help Nevada. It relieves pressure across the entire Western U.S. because graduates don't all stay local, guys. I learned that in the trades because I was in the union. So everybody's like, oh, you need to go, you need to hit the road. You need to hit the road. I lived in Dallas, so I was able to keep business booming here for myself plenty. When you're a good worker, you can keep busy at home, but the road is fun occasionally. And I'd get sent out on the road to save some jobs occasionally because sometimes we just got to go be that hero. Matt knows all about that. Now, this center matters because it closes the gap between book smarts and job site readiness, guys. Apprentices don't just learn how to glue PVC. They're going to learn how to follow the safety protocols, coordinate across the trades, and deal with live job site conditions. I really do like this because I've been on a job before where the safety guy that runs the job's like, we will not have any green apprentices out on this job because they're the first ones to get injured. No, I've got 3 green apprentices that will be working this job and they will be working close with us. You don't have anything to worry about that though. They have a little of experience. And I love this, adding this to the training center itself, because you're going to learn some of those on-site activities and movements that you've got to pay attention to and be aware of. But we've seen some other training centers that have failed because they didn't involve contractors in the design. This one they actually did. And I love this because who knows it better than the guys out actually working on the jobs. And HVAC contractors already signed agreements for internships. Plumbing businesses have pledged to hire straight from this pipeline. And if you're watching from outside of Nevada, here's your takeaway. Get involved in your local trade school boards, because the companies that show up and help shape training are the ones who will have first access to those skilled, loyal workers that come through those schools. And guys, don't wait until the graduation day. You need to be the employer that already know them by name. So get involved with your local trade schools. This is some of the best pipelines to be able to get workers these days. It's really freaking good if you can do it. We've got a few schools around here, even the high school, that they're actually doing plumbing and stuff in. And out in the rural areas more, I see a lot of welders turning out and graduating from high schools and stuff. So I think it's really cool that we're adding more trades, and it's happening all over the country, I am sure. Matt over here telling the old man to be safe. Go LeakPro. Mike Paul is 30. I'm assuming he was about to say is 30 too old to get in the trades. Definitely not, man. What was I at Gary V this morning? Oh, if you're 30, you're not even a quarter of the way through life yet with the modern world. I think that's pretty cool, but definitely not too old. I'm 42 and I can go start a new trade right now. I'd be just fine. Old man jumping in there saying thanks, man. Definitely love that. Appreciate that. Let's move on into website reviews. One of my favorites we're talking about here. If you really want to stay informed, guys, with some of the latest, greatest things going on beyond what we tell you about in this show, Construction Dive. This is one of my favorite sites. They do a lot of different newsletters for different parts of your industry. I've actually signed up to quite a few. Keeps me current on some of the latest things, latest jobs that have been sold, stuff like that. There's a lot of different articles in here that you can take advantage of. This is one of my favorites, conferences for the second half of 2025. They do this at the very beginning of June. It's a question I get asked a lot. Man, what all trade shows are there? Most happen first quarter, but there's still some that happen the second half of the year. And then all sprinkled out throughout the year for different localities. So find some and get in some. It's a good thing to do. But if there's one site that I'm going to tell you tradespeople to actually check out, even if you're a business owner, bookmark this Construction Dive site. All right. It's like the Wall Street Journal for the trades, but without the subscriptions and things like that. Their dive briefs that they have in here, when they do some of these deep dives and stuff, they boil down massive industry stories into 3 to 4 digestible paragraphs. It's a bunch of summaries. We're tradespeople. We don't like this big, long blog that we have to read to get a little bit of information. We like easy, digestible stuff, and that's what they've kind of done here. And it's perfect if you only have a few minutes. You can jump through here before your crew shows up and get some of the latest and greatest. That's the thing I really like about this layout and everything. Do some of these deep dive. 2025 mid-year HR checkup. Layoffs, DEI pivots, and tricky AI future. Something that we talk about a lot here is the AI and what's coming. This is going to keep you informed on what to keep an eye out for. But you can even use them as a toolbox talk material. There's a lot of different stuff in here about safety, stuff like that. sustainability, some of the legal and regulations. They also have sector newsletters too. There's one that's infrastructure, one that's for safety, one that's residential construction, one that's tech. There's a few different ones. I've seen shop foremen literally print out their articles for the Monday meetings. And I used to love setting myself up for this, having the right information that keeps the guys motivated and actually involved in your topics and discussions. So if you find something that's recent, that fits your niche, your world, your trade, print it out, bring it in, talk to your guys. You know, we'll jump over here on the safety real quick and just kind of take a look. Construction language disconnect creates the safety risk. This is where they're talking about a lot of the Hispanic and English. You know, we've got to have a lot of Spanish speaking. So they're coming out with more standardized JHAs and stuff that are bilingual. This is something I dealt with a lot. I had a lot of welders that spoke Spanish, but I speak enough that we got along, we could communicate. So they would actually enjoyed working with me because I learned the right words to be able to actually communicate with them. And that's the key is, like I tell guys, it's like, look, you need to learn a few words just to keep everybody safe. And that's the key to this and actually kind of updating that. But definitely something to check out if you want to stay current and fresh. Sign up to some of their newsletters if you want. If you're a business owner, though, the site also tracks the policy. Okay, they covered the tariff changes that hit electrical panels and the steel piping last year before most contractors even felt the pain. So sign up for some of this, guys, and check out the Construction Dive because it really can benefit you on information. And as the key is studying information as much as you possibly can. Now we'll get rolling over into business growth. And a little kind of like we were talking about earlier is leveraging these training centers to build workforce pipelines. What's the big problem everybody has? We need more people. We need more guys. We need more trades. Need more. But one of the smartest business growth moves that you can make right now is turning these new training centers into your personal recruiting pipeline. That's like a lot of people used to ask me, what's the major difference between open shop and union? It's like, look, union, it's a labor pool. It's set up, it's set there, and you can cruise on through. This is a good way to go get trained people that were actually took, you know, which schooling they had, what they've been through already. Do it. Talk to the people that run these training centers in your area. But a good way, you could donate some older equipment to the school. It may not meet code for a job site, but people can still learn from it. Even if it's old stuff, one of my favorite things teachers and instructors would do is bring in some old tools that you don't ever see on the job anymore, just to open your mind at how things have evolved as to what we have and can get our hands on nowadays. But in a classroom, it's gold, guys. And HVAC companies give up an old rooftop unit. Plumbing companies, they donate fittings, fixtures, man, tons of stuff that you can donate. That stuff that the guys hid in the back of the shop, yeah, send it down to the school. Let them do some learning. Let them do some installs. Let them waste it. Whatever it is, they'll end up recycling it and feeding it back in to get more. But the students train on your equipment, and then they remember your company name because let's say everything you donated, you put a sticker on, brand it. They know they're going to reach out to you and start talking to you when they want that job later. Step 2, though, is get on the advisory board if you can. Most centers have committees that decide what actually gets taught at the schools. And if you're at that table, you can push for the skills that you need your hires to actually have. Step 3 in this, I would say offer internships or scholarships. Okay. You offer a $500 scholarship, dude, that could lock in loyalty from a student who will work for you after graduation. They're not going anywhere else. Why? Because you helped them with the school funding. So compare that to the thousands that you'd actually spend on Indeed ads, bad hires. One bad hire, there you go. You just saved that money, no problem. But I know an electrical contractor in Dallas who took this approach. He showed up once a month to teach a small class, donated a few switchgear panels, things like that. Now, every graduate applies to his company first because that's the first company they know of. They're like, man, they donate all this stuff. I want to go work for him. He taught me a few things. I really liked it. But his recruiting budget, it's almost zero. It's his time to go and teach a class once a month. Not a big deal. But the bottom line here is stop waiting for good people to knock on your door. And you're going to have to go meet them where they're actually learning, because the ROI on this is off the charts, guys. So definitely keep that in mind. Get involved in your local training centers so that you can create this great pipeline of workers, because it actually is out there. Now we'll get rolling over here into service work. So some premium diagnostics, okay? And you've got to charge properly for specialized services. I get this question a lot with LeakPro and leak detection. But honestly, like diagnostics, they're the most undervalued part of service work, okay? And like you think about it. When a doctor checks your blood pressure and runs labs, you pay for that. They don't roll it into the surgery bill. Why do trades act like diagnosis should be free? Technically, there's typically a service charge. So the old man used to have. Most companies have that as a standard. Now, we'll waive the standard fee if it turns into a bigger job, and some of that stuff can happen. But if you're invested in specialized tools, like a digital manometer, a thermal camera, or a leak detection system, you've got to recover that investment. And that means charging for that diagnostic service. That's one of the questions I get asked a lot is plumbers are like, well, how do I charge extra for the leak detection? I said, well, look, you already send it to a leak detection, right? Well, yeah. What do you tell your customer the fee is? Well, what they charge? Okay, well, there you go. There's your fee for what a leak detection needs to be. You can do it. You're right there. You're ready to go. Oh, wow. And then it's like, man, it just opens their minds. But customers will honestly respect you if you frame it right. We don't guess. We actually test. That line alone sets you apart from everybody else. Okay. And I worked with a plumber who raised his diagnostic fee from $49 to $189. His close rate went up. Why? Because customers believed that he was the real deal. They didn't call him out just for a quote. They called because they wanted the problem solved. And that's why Roger did a video a long time ago. He is not the cheapest plumber in the city. Here's why. Here's why you don't want the cheapest. But that's the key, is they know you're going to help them solve their problem. And that's what he did. He set himself different and apart from everybody else. But there was another HVAC contractor that built tiered diagnostic packages. Their basic was like airflow testing. Premium included thermal imaging and duct leak analysis. But guess which one most people picked? The premium. They want it actually tested the right way to the fullest capabilities. Okay? And honestly, the result of this, more revenue, more accurate repairs, fewer callbacks, because they went with that premium. They took that top grade inspection to actually fix all of the problems. So stop undervaluing your brain and your tools. Diagnostics is where pros prove that they're worth every freaking penny. And, you know, like Roger, 45 years of experience. He walks in and he already is picking apart the problem before he can see everything. Why? Because of that 45 years of experience. He's walked into the same job so many different times. He's already got a good understanding of what's going on, where the issue is going to be, and exactly how to check it real quick to make sure that that's the problem that this job has. So don't rule that out. You are valuable. Your knowledge is valuable. And that's what you learn as you spend some years in the trade. Why does that old man get to kind of kick back? Because they're paying him more for his brain, not for his body anymore. And a lot of guys start to understand that in the trades. Yeah, you still got to do some things, but it starts becoming more for your mind than anything, and actually running and leading. And that's where you get paid for that knowledge. And it really is an exceptional thing. Now we'll get rolling over here into materials, equipment, and tools. And high durability composite lumber for the outdoor walls. Now, this is big. This is all coming. You know, we've all used some pressure treated lumber for rooftop sleepers or outdoor supports. But the problem, 5 years later, you're back on that roof because that wood split, it's warped, or it even rotted. Composite lumber, it changes the game. Denver, real quick, everybody. Where is Roger? Just to update everybody across all the platforms and everything. Roger is out right now. I am solo hosting, as you see on the screen. He's out for a little R&R, getting prepped for Labor Day. Wants it to be a great weekend for everybody out there. But back to the outdoor, the composite lumber. Okay, I saw this originally at Great Wolf Lodge, the big water park me and Roger built together. It's so freaking cool. It looks like wood for the most part, depending on what colors and how you order it and pick like that. But it's made from recycled plastics and fibers. It resists UV moisture and rot. Guys, that solves all your issues. But in Phoenix, there was a contractor that compared it against PT, pine, under a rooftop chiller. After 5 years in 110-degree heat, the composite looked new while the pine was crumbling. Okay, and yeah, it's going to cost more up front. But whenever you explain to the clients that this material lasts 3 times longer or more, it becomes a very easy upsell. Okay, you're not just selling wood, you're selling fewer service calls and better protection for their investment. Okay, it's their home. If I've got to buy a few of these 2x4s, I'd much rather do that than to use something that I'm going to have to go in and replace in just a few years. But it also cuts like wood. It fastens just like wood. It won't split unless you cut it too thin. But it's a lot lighter to handle too. Okay. And a good bonus here is many brands are certified sustainable, which some commercial clients now require for the lead points. And love that everything's going more efficient. Every single thing that we're doing everywhere, I feel like. And composite woods are becoming a great thing, and they last a lot longer, look better for longer too. But this is one of those materials. It's not just a gimmick. It's a serious long-term value add. And that's what really matters. I really like it because it doesn't splinter. I've had a lot of wood decks, been out in the country a lot, hanging out with some friends and folks. Problem with most porches, splinters from the wood. Things chip, things get dropped, stuff like that. Causes some issues. These composites, man, it's a lot safer. Can be a lot smoother at times too, so you got to be careful on that side of the world. Definitely so. Have a great vacation, Roger. Man, I'm sure he appreciates that. He is going to have a great time. He'll be back in here on Tuesday. Remember, everybody, no show on Monday, just so everybody kind of knows. Labor Day. Actually get a day off, man. It's going to be so great. Kind of looking forward to this weekend. Got some fun things going on. Hope all of you do too. But remember, we do have to stay focused because it's Friday. Most accidents happening on Fridays, especially right before holiday weekend. So don't think about the weekend just yet too much. Even though Roger's already enjoying his. Let's move on in here. Man, we would like to thank LeakPro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, guys. And at LeakPro, we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And guys, I always suggest checking out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. It comes with both pieces of equipment I build. It comes with the probe, which is the T-handle style, a solid block of aluminum with a stainless steel rod, and that's the one we prefer for that meter to the home service. Anything underground irrigation lines, a line run out to a pool or a shed or anything like that, water lines across a property. Check out that probe. It's super durable. It's not going to bend if you run into a rock or anything like that. It's made to probe in and out of the ground. But when you go into a house or you're listening through any concrete anywhere, sidewalks, patios, driveways, you're going to love that Sidekick. It's one of my favorites. It's a pistol grip style with an aluminum rod on it. That aluminum rod, it's a less dense metal, so it enhances the sound even more. And that's all. Both pieces come in the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. But also, if you're not familiar with how to do leak detection, give me a call, because I offer a 2-day in-person training here just outside of Dallas, Texas, where I've got a slab out here with 11 leaks under it. We go through, I'll teach you how to locate those lines, pinpoint locate the leaks under the slab, outside of the slab. I've got a leak, but also I've got a couple sewer systems set up. One cast iron and one PVC. And that's to give you, a little metal, a little plastic. One's harder than the other. But we teach you how to go to the double clean out outside of a home and do some testing to determine exactly where a sewer system is leaking. If this is something that'll help you in your business, help you get more calls. I hear leak detection guys are 8 to 10 weeks out for some guys. I get a lot of plumbers that have been calling me lately. Give me a call though, because I do an in-person training and I will teach you how to do leak detection. So give me a call. Let's talk about it at 1-8888-LeakPro. I'd love to talk about the equipment or the training with you. Let's see. FOF. Yeah, man, for sure. Don't do too many big things today. I used to throttle back Friday afternoons on every job. I would talk to my boss. Look, I hit it hard Monday through Thursday. Come Friday afternoons, I like to throttle it back because that's when most accidents happen. And then the boss like, what do you mean? I said, well, you watch me work for 2 days and you tell me if you're going to be okay with it. After 2 days, they're like, oh, the way you work? Yeah, you ain't got to do nothing Friday afternoon if you don't want to. It'll be fine. I said, no, I'll work. We just slow it way down so that nobody gets hurt. Works out really good. Matt over here, got to go be a hero. Enjoy your fabulous Friday. Have a great weekend. Go LeakPro. Keep doing the awesome things that you do. Love you. Bye. Brother, love you. I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Get out there and be a hero. Go save the day. All right, guys. Man, this thing's moving right along today. Let's get over here into MEP. And this is going to be some IAQ retrofits, indoor air quality. Now, this is in schools, post-funding round, which is a little different, okay? And indoor air quality, it's back in the spotlight. And schools just unlocked a new round of funding to address it, okay? And we're talking about HVAC retrofits with HEPA filters, fresh air exchangers, and UV disinfection systems. The world's changed. We want to be breathing some of the best air that we can now. And I love that they're rolling this out in schools. Think of how many germs go around the school, how often kids are sick. They probably need better air, just like a hospital. Electrical trades get involved too, though, okay? Because all this equipment adds loads to panels, and it requires upgraded wiring also. So, there's some plumbing touches as well. There's some condensate drainage, mechanical room modifications. You're going to get a little bit of everything in that. But there was a Texas school district that budgeted $5 million just for IAQ upgrades. Multiply that across the states, and you've got billions in funded projects. But guys, there are some challenges, okay? These are occupied facilities. Crews are going to need to work nights and weekends because this isn't just for summers. This is going all around. But you're going to have to minimize dust and the noise. You're going to have to follow strict safety guidelines. These are in neighborhoods, things like that. You're going to have to control the noise. There's going to be a lot of different things that are out of your control that you're going to have to adjust for. But this isn't a new build. It's a retrofit with kids coming back to class already for some places, soon for others. But for contractors, this is steady, guaranteed work. And if you're in HVAC, plumbing, or electrical, start monitoring your local school board's bid postings, because this wave, it's here and it's already going on. And we know summer's about over. And that's just how it is. So, Gen X Plumber over here, wishing he could take it easy. Have 8 water heaters to install today. Man, that's a busy day. At least you know you have 8 on the front end, so you can go everyone approaching it to start draining immediately, because that always takes the longest. But hopefully you got a pump to help speed that part up so that you can actually crank 8 out pretty quick. Love that. Now we'll get rolling on over here to where is the work, guys. And up in Greenville, North Carolina, there's a solar cell plant and some spinoff projects. Okay. Now, Greenville, North Carolina, it's booming thanks to Beauvais Solars. So Beauvais Solar's $1 billion solar cell facility. Okay. The exterior's done, but the ripple effect is just beginning. Okay. Now subcontractors are needed for everything. One of my favorites, from process plumbing inside the plant to HVAC systems to roofing crews installing PV. Ready assemblies. This one plant is bringing 2,000 permanent jobs. And some of the spinoff projects, guys, housing, a lot of logistics, schools, things like that. And they're already breaking ground to support the influx. So definitely check it out. But if you are in the Southeast, get on these bid lists now. Okay? Because these kinds of anchor facilities, they don't just create a project. They spark 5 or 10 years of work across every trade as these areas grow. But you don't want to sleep on this, guys, because Greenville is about to be a hub of work. So definitely something to look into. Ungovernable headed to a leak search right now. Thank you, LeakPro. Man, love to hear it. It definitely simplifies the process. I've had a lot of guys that have come out for the training, and like some places in the country, they're like, "Oh no, we just mainly do repipes." I said, "Oh, repop, man, use our equipment. You can figure out which 2 valves are making the most noise and the leaks in between it." It's one of the quickest tools I've found to be able to figure out a quick reroute. So I really do love it. Moves along pretty good. But, whenever you're building a new plant like this, it is so much work. And I've worked in a lot of the industrial spaces, things like that. I got to build Farmer Brothers coffee plant, where we had stainless conveyor piping everywhere that would actually transport the coffee beans from the green room to the grinders, to the roasters, to everything. Like, just the way everything went, it was so freaking cool to go in and learn. And I love working in large facilities like this. But Greenville up there in the Carolinas is going to be a hub for this massive solar cell plant. So definitely, if you're up in that area, check it out. It's going to be a pretty busy job, and it's going to go for a while, because just like we were saying, neighborhoods are going to be popping up in these areas too, because whenever a large facility gets built, everything else has to be around to be able to support the workers that work in those facilities. So definitely kind of start looking at this and checking it out. We'll go ahead and roll on into instructor training here. And this is a great one, and we'll probably go pretty in depth on this one. But blueprint reading with color-coded layered exercises. Now, I've worked on so many projects, small projects, big projects, and everything. But actually teaching apprentices how to read blueprints can be really tough. I remember looking at isometrics going, yeah, I still don't see it. Until finally a journeyman held it up just right of some piping that we actually did. And he's like, now do you see it? And it's like, oh my gosh, now I see it. Sometimes that's what it takes, though. It takes bending a piece of wire to show them and explain exactly what an isometric is and the directions and flow and how it goes. But most of them glaze over, especially when they see a black and white sheet full of lines. It's like, yeah, okay. But honestly, a simple teaching hack is color coding. Okay? Very basics. Working on a lot of different things. Man, let them go through color code blue for all the plumbing stuff. Red for your HVAC, green for electrical. But then give them layered transparencies to actually overlay the systems. Okay? If you don't have this, get somebody in a CAD department to build this for you. Really simple to do, but having all these layers to do these overlays and actually just drop them on and see how they stack up and stuff, it's easier to learn that way. But then, they can actually see where the duct crosses the pipe because they see this color coding and where the conduit hits the wall. You can teach them this so that they can actually start learning clash detections, things like that, because then you're going to want to check elevations. Well, who's at what height? How are these not hitting? Is there enough room for this? They start to see this in actual drawings. And if you can really do good, get real drawings of real jobs that they actually work on. Helps a lot. But guys, this isn't just for classroom fun. It mirrors what clash detection software does on major projects. But instead of a BIM model, you're giving apprentices hands-on way to understand coordination. More like the old school manual way. Look, it wasn't just a push a button before. You actually had to overlay these things, figure out who was running into each other where so that we could figure out who's got to make offsets and move. But I've also seen some apprentices who couldn't read a drawing suddenly spot conflicts in minutes once they tried it this way. That color coding, it really does help, and being able to layer it and turn layers on and off digitally nowadays is so great because you can quickly do it and run through some of those cycles, checking the different areas and spaces, and use that as a teaching way to do it. But it really does build some confidence, and it prevents real world mistakes before they ever step on that side, guys. Now, if you are an instructor or a journeyman teaching on the job, try it. It's going to stick. And I did large industrial projects, multiple systems. And there's times that it was well worth 8 hours of my time to sit down and color drawings so that I could actually track my estimate and follow each system the right way easily. Because, guys, some of the projects I was working on, there were 30 systems that we were running because of all the different gases, different chemicals, different parts and pieces in labs, stuff like that. Like we were talking about the solar cell plant earlier, there's going to be so many systems in there moving not just water, air, gases, chemicals, things like that, moving product also, just like we were talking about the coffee beans. There's piping for all this stuff. There's a way to get everything around, and the color coding helps the mind follow it so easy. But make sure you pick colors, you create a map that you can easily follow so it stands out and it's quick and easy for you to follow. So definitely something to kind of check out. Roger taught blueprint reading and drawings and stuff. I spent many years in it. I remember my first year in the union, the first instructor was going to teach ISOs. Well, luckily I was working out at Texas Instruments. So I was doing isometric drawings all the time already and actually measuring in the field using isometrics to go in and bend tubing and stuff. So the instructor's like, look, you can do all that already. There's nothing I'm going to be able to teach you. I'm hoping to teach the class to be where you're at by the end of this semester. because you've actually been learning. I said, well, I've been reading blueprints before I even got in the union. So yeah. And I was always the kid that was full of questions. How do you understand this? How do you interpret that? Et cetera, et cetera. Thomas Caldwell, morning. Morning, man. I hope everything is going good. As you can see, I am solo today. Roger is out for some R&R. Heading out to enjoy a good weekend. We'll roll over here into specialty. And this one's a little different. Clean room retrofits. Okay. Now, today we're talking more of the pressurization cascades and sealant protocols. Okay. And guys, this could be a really good specialty to get into because this is going to cover areas like pharmaceuticals, biotech, and semiconductor companies. But they are all investing big in these clean environments. And honestly, guys, the stakes here, millions of dollars in product can be lost from a single airflow mistake. Okay. I worked at Texas Instruments. They've got clean rooms there that it's so few particles in. It takes you 15, 20 minutes to get dressed, air showered, clean enough to even walk through the doors to get into it. It's a process. But guys, it's a good one for a reason because the air in there is so clean and so clear to make all these chips and that go into your phones and stuff like that because of the chemicals and gases that are used. It's got to be a clean, pure facility. And that's why clean rooms are becoming a bigger and bigger thing. But the biggest challenge, it's maintaining the pressurization cascades. Each room has to stay at a slightly higher or lower pressure than the one next to it. And that's going to keep the contaminants out because a lot of clean rooms there's corridors, there's multiple little rooms that people are building and working in. I've been in a lot of different places. I've been in some that were just a huge room where there weren't any extra rooms so that all airflow was pretty clean. It was a waffle floor, so the airflow you could always feel just walking around in the clean room. Pretty cool. But if you screw it up and you compromise that whole facility, that ain't gonna work. But also, don't forget that there's sealants, okay? And regular caulk, that's not gonna cut it, guys. Clean rooms need specialty sealants that resist breakdown and they don't off-gas anything, okay? Cheap shortcuts here can cost millions down the line. I heard of a semiconductor facility that lost $2 million in wafers because airflow balancing wasn't done right. And that's the kind of risk and opportunity in this niche. You've got to pay extra attention. You've got to do extra testing. Got to make sure everything is set perfectly right to keep the air cascading the way it's supposed to keep the pressurizations right, and to keep the crap out of the good rooms, because it could be a class 1 or class 100 clean room. That's a major difference for that 1x1 area, that 1 cubic foot. But for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical pros that actually want to get into some high-paying specialized work, clean rooms can be a gold mine, okay? But you need the training and discipline to work that spec. It's a lot. There's a lot of training that goes into it. Some extra time, definitely, for sure, because even just learning the process of getting in a smock, things like that, all the coverings, all the right ways, the right ways to wipe down your tools, stuff like that, because, guys, these aren't just normal tools. It can't be that dirty crap that you got in your van. No, it's got to be clean. It's got to be wiped down, all sorts of good things. So definitely check it out. Sorry, I'm getting ready for our social media spot here. But clean rooms, it really was. It was a fun place to work. It's where I spent a lot of my apprenticeship, my first couple of years. They loved that I had the experience that I had already coming in out there because it was a pretty sharp apprentice. I can remember day one in the union that I got sent out to Texas Instruments with 2 other first day apprentices. I had to teach them how to read a tape measure, how to use a bandsaw, to cut unistrut, like all these things. And like, all I can remember is they wouldn't give me any credit because I didn't work for a company. I only worked with family, but man, I know a lot more than these guys. It's okay though. It all paid off in the long run. Let's see. Ty Joe the Terrible passed the electrician, plumbing, and pipe fitting and operating engineer's entrance exams. Do you think making a YouTube video could be beneficial to help others? Definitely so. We've pulled up, what was it? I pulled up a channel earlier this week. It was an electrical guy, and he just does videos on code. Each and every single electrical code out there, he does a video based on it. But, Tajo, I tell everybody, if it's something that you don't really see on social media, put it out there. If it's something that can benefit somebody, put it out there. Reason we do this show, if it helps one person out there, we did something good. That's the goal of it, is to help somebody. Mainly to help more, don't get me wrong, but that's the thing that we always think about is, look, can this video help somebody out there? If the answer is yeah, it's probably worth making the video. So definitely so. And even if it's just an opinion piece, how you prepped, what you did, what your process was, how things worked for you, how it went, what people can expect on exam day, things like that. Just give them the rundown. I definitely think it's worth the time and effort. We're people in the trades. We're curious about all sorts of stuff. And even if it's somebody in a different trade, they may be curious how those exams look in comparison to what they did. All right, let's get moving on here to social media. And we've got Plumbing Skater today. See, y'all thought I was going to pull up Dad, didn't you? I know y'all did. Not today. Plumbing Skater. Love his pipe wrench. I've got one of his stickers. Met him trade show. Man, if you're not going to trade shows, you really should. Meet a lot of cool people. Get to have some fun and get to talk to the vendors and suppliers and the manufacturing companies that build the tools. I love talking tools. I manufacture tools. Imagine that. Plumbing Skater, his description for his channel, Plumbing POV Videos. And I love that. It's him out doing the thing. It's one of my favorite things. Joined 3 years ago, back in 2022. Has 23,000 subs and over 26 million views. Doing some good things. Does some videos and some shorts. Go over here to videos real quick. Oh, why is it hiding my stuff today? It is. So let's go to the oldest real quick. Start there. How it all got started. Some verticals 3 years ago. How to replace frost-free hose bib. Using the Milwaukee cutters there, cruising, prepping, replacing a leaky old faucet. You know, that's what a lot of people ask, how do I get started on social media, stuff like that. Show people what you do. I've talked to a lot of guys. Plum Skater wasn't one of them. There was one. He started putting Facebook videos out to show his family what he did at work. Because most of them were like, well, what does a plumber really do? Like, because I'm sure most people just think, oh, they deal with crap all the time. No, not always. Most of the time they're doing normal things, fixing somebody's water heater. Yeah, fixing a toilet sometimes, but guess what? It's not just crappy situations. Really love that. Most popular, replacing the leaky old faucet. Imagine that. Laundry faucet sink swap out. Testing out the rigid K flex shaft. I was going to say the K9. Really fun to actually go to the shows and see some of the presentations they do with some of these things. It's really freaking cool. Some of the latest videos that we've got here a couple weeks ago, how to replace an old hose bib. Looks like there's still a lot of these from Dad and just redoing them. And I love that. Wait, oh, we went home. I'm sorry. There we go. How to replace an old hose bib. how to replace an old shower valve. One of the most difficult things to do sometimes, depending on where it is and what kind it is. Sorry, y'all. I don't really like plumbing that much. Sure, we've told y'all that a lot on this channel. Laundry sink, faucet swap out like we were talking about just a minute ago. How to replace broken hose-free faucets. Backup sump jets. I love this because one of the big problems people have in their basements is sumps and issues with them. We actually just filmed a video the other day. But Plumbing Skater, his main thing, guys, shorts. Does a lot of freaking shorts. And I love it because it's a lot of things that are really going on. Checks out some new tools, things like that he suggests. Checking out Milwaukee Pack Out. Y'all know we love Milwaukee. Just in here doing some things. Most of it's POV. Occasionally he'll set up a camera that's showing what he's doing. A lot of this, though, guys, it's day in the life. It's what they're really going on and what's going on in his day. And he actually makes, plumbing pretty cool for these youngsters by combining it with skateboarding. He's a skateboarder, like he said, plumbing skater. So it helps kind of tie to some of the youngsters. I used to skateboard for a bit. Then I felt like I got too old. Got on a bicycle instead. Loved that and had a blast. But a viral video shows him cutting pipe, doing kickflip, and explaining some solder joints. But honestly, guys, why does it matter? Next generation, they don't want boring, okay? They want tradespeople who show personality, who make it a little fun. They love to see your hobbies. Like, honestly, what are your hobbies? Show some of that. Let it peek through occasionally because, honestly, in the socials, it's a relationship they build with you and who you are, okay? And he's recruiting without even trying, okay? Young kids see his videos and they think, man, I could be a plumber and still be me. That is powerful for the industry. And I always tell people, be you. Like, I wasn't anybody any different in my trade. I am me, and they had to deal with that. Good, bad, and ugly. It didn't matter. But honestly, a good takeaway here, guys, don't hide your personality online, okay? Whether you hunt, fish, cook, skate, show it alongside your trade. You grilling on the weekends, man? Make a quick, short post about what you were doing, what you did, how you're spending your Labor Day. Yeah. Blend that in and actually show it off because that is what builds followers and recruits more people into what you've got going. Let's find out over here real quick on the most popular short he's got. Do not install needle valves. Man, that is no lie right there. 4.1 million views. Love it. If you're not a plumber, needle valves suck most of the time. They're always faulty. Only time you want one is if you really do need a needle valve and just need a low flow. It's the only time I really see them being useful because most of the time they are failing and going to crap. So definitely some fun. Now we'll get rolling over in here to best practices. residentialserviceprofessionals.com, guys. And this segment here is sponsored by Residential Service Professionals. And here's what makes it different. Okay, it's not consultants, it's professionals. People who actually built real service companies and scaled them. Okay, and you get ready to use tools. Like there's some menu pricing systems that ethically raise your ticket average. Okay, there's some SOP checklist for your training, calculators for pricing jobs right, tons of stuff that they actually help with. But even more valuable is that community. Okay, there's some group coaching calls, some private groups, some workshops, things like that. But you get accountability and fresh ideas from people who live the same challenges you are. Okay. Now, this isn't theory. It's actually battle-tested strategies because they've been there. They've done it. They've been through these trenches. They've cruised up, built the company bigger. But if you're ready to stop guessing and start growing, check them out, because they will give you the systems that literally print time and money. And a lot of everything I know, guys, they're trying to build out a lot of automations to help you in your business, to help things go smooth, and to help buy back your time. Mikey Bala, morning, brother. Hope everything's going good. Has a small service plumbing and drain cleaning company. Just him right now. About to hire one guy and buy an extra van. Man, I love to hear that. Growth is wonderful. Get that person, have them do some ride-alongs that first week. See what they've got. Make sure they're the right fit. Make sure it's something they want to do for a while. That's something I was talking to somebody about the other day, and they're like, look, whenever you're hiring, this is something definitely to think of. You know, you always hear that question, where do you see yourself 10 years down the road? Where do they really see themselves 10 years down the road? Is it working for you still, doing drain cleanings or not? So kind of just ask those extra questions. Really good, though. Love to see that you're growing and expanding. That is a great thing to hear, brother. Good luck on that. Man, everybody, we would love to thank LeakPro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, where we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. If you're a plumber out there and you're losing jobs to leak detection people because you don't do it in-house, I build the right system for you. Check out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. Guys, and our equipment is simple. It's easy to use. You've got the device, push button activation. It's not on until you squeeze that trigger, and an adjustment. The only adjustment on the whole device is a volume knob on the headphones themselves. So check it out at leak.pro and check out the complete kit. It comes with both pieces of equipment that I build, that probe for anything outdoors, that meter to the home service, and then that sidekick for anything that's under concrete that you're listening to. I prefer it a lot whenever, even in the homes, if you're doing repipes or reroutes, go through with that sidekick and listen to the valves real quick. You're going to find the two that are making the most noise. You know, the lines between those. Cut those manifolds, the line that drops, guess what? That's the one you're rerouting. So definitely check it out. If you're not familiar with how to do leak detection, though, guys, give me a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO, because I offer a 2-day in-person training here just outside of Dallas, Texas, where I teach you how to locate lines, pinpoint locate leaks under a slab, outside of a slab, even how to determine where a sewer system's leaking, all from the double clean out outside of the home. So give me a call. Let's talk about training or the equipment at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO, or you can visit the site and book me a call on there. We can do a Zoom so I can actually show you some of the things. Check out the site at leak.pro. Everybody, happy freaking Friday. I know it is Labor Day weekend, so a 3-day weekend ahead. Tradespeople's favorite things, especially Labor Day weekend. It was always my favorite holiday of the year. But guys, most accidents happen on Friday afternoons, so please stay focused on the rest of the day. Don't get too light on thought about that weekend. I know it's coming. It'll be here before you know it. Make sure you get there safe through the rest of the day, guys. Happy freaking Friday. We will not have a show on Monday, so I want you all to go out, enjoy your wonderful weekends, and we hope to see you back in here Tuesday. Whatever you do today, get out there, hit it effing hard, and stay safe, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Bye, y'all.